people are unattractive.
You agree with that?
And this just shows the differences between men and women. These women know in their heart of hearts that being fat is not attractive, but they are so worried about hurting someone's feelings that they don't want to walk forward. It's the truth. Fat people are not that attractive. Honestly, if this was 30 years ago, I don't even think this would be a question.
I think that one can be attracted to a person that is fat because everyone has their own types and what makes them tick. But I think that question on a conventional basis, would I want to see a fat person on a fitness magazine and say this is a sex symbol? I think most people would agree that that's probably conventionally that's not sexy. So and I think that's the hard
personal
truth.
preference, but in my preference is like a fat person. I don't find that person attractive. It's just they just seem unhealthy. They're not taking care of themselves. Maybe they are. Maybe they have a thyroid disease or something that's causing them to be fat. But just in general, I think the general public don't find fat people attractive.
And I kind of touch on that as well because health, right? Health can be
Related to
your visceral fat, your fat on your organs, subcutaneous fat, all different types of fat. So there are people that find that person attractive and they may look at them more than their physical, but we're in a fitness. If we're in fitness, we're not saying, hey, I want to go get someone who's not or doesn't care about fitness at all. Whether it be a health problem, that's beyond the fact because I'm not talking to you based on, okay, I want to understand you mentally right now before I look at you visually, and that's what gets my attraction.
Yeah.
And if you, real quick, I just want to say this. If you want to do this comparison, fat women, tons of body positivity.
Yeah.
I see fat women go on dates, no problem, except, and I'll even go this far, I think fat women are seen as way more attractive sometimes than fit women. And they're pushed and they go on dates, they can do fine dating apps. Fat men, good luck. Like, honestly, I think like, if you're a fat man, there's no chance of you being seen attractive at all. So that's.
I do agree that women have more dating options overall, but if you're a fat guy with money, you can still attract a good amount of women. And I know the woman is only approaching him because that man has money, but at least he can use that opportunity to try to win the woman over, all right? The name of the game is attraction. So if he's able to attract that woman, then that gives him an opportunity to kind of sell himself. But it doesn't really matter how much money a woman makes. If a woman is fat and a man is not attracted to that, more money is not going to help her cause. Most men would rather have a broke, beautiful woman than a rich, fat woman.
Would you guys agree that attractiveness is health?
I correlate
yeah.
with that. Yeah.
For example, like it could be anything, your skin, your teeth, your hair, and if you have a lot of fat on you, it's just not healthy.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people that are fat have passed away. And not to say that having muscle makes you live any longer. It just depends on how much you care about your health. Because usually when you see that, the representation is that your health is not important. It's just, I just want to do whatever I want to do. I just want to get up and just do and not take care of my health for the long term, right? Necessarily right now. I mean, and now if it wasn't a situation like that, Ozempic wouldn't be around.
Yeah.
So here we are now, we have this Ozempic crisis. So clearly you're saying that being fat is not attractive and it's not good for you. So we're giving you this drug, which also then takes you to this point of, I don't actually have to do anything to get this sexy, to get smaller. So I'm going to go that route. And so then again, they looked at that as, oh yeah, this is what I wanted to do.
I'm going to say, I'll start off, and that is, I have met some very beautiful overweight people. And what makes them beautiful is the confidence that they carry. If they're overweight and they have no confidence, I'm sorry, I don't find them attractive either. Okay. But if they're confident and they hold that head high and they're just like, I'm the shit, and they dress that way and they walk that way, they carry themselves that way, they can be overweight and beautiful. But the minute that confidence drops, they drop their head, they walk frumpy, they dress frumpy, and they just don't care, now it's a whole nother ballgame.
I disagree. And part of the thing you just said was I met, which already starts off as like subjectivity. And then confidence, anyone can be confident through their accomplishments, stuff they do in their daily life. But we're talking about physical appearance. You've never spoken to them a word. Would you maybe date them or would you want to marry them just off of their appearance?
Nope.
We're not talking about their personality per se. We're talking about just literal health. Yeah. I think you're deviating from the original question was, is this obese person physically attractive? Not internal. We're not saying as a human person. Right. We're talking about their physical body.
I disagree.
Look, Look, there's some people that you'll meet in life who look gorgeous, but then you get to know them and now they're ugly to you. And then there's some people who look ugly, but once you get to know them, you find out that there's a beautiful smile behind those crooked teeth. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about strictly appearance. And the problem with people who are unattractive is that they rarely get the chance to display who they are on the inside. So they're already at a disadvantage. It doesn't matter if you walk in with all the confidence in the world. If you ugly, you ugly. She's not going to talk to you. Confidence is an attractive trait, but that's not something that's put on display all the time. So if you got two people in a room, one person is fit and in shape and the other person is fat and out of shape, they're not doing anything that would display their personal characteristics. Most people are going to gravitate towards the person who is fit and in shape. That's just how it goes.
Great. Because if they carry themselves confidently, and for a female, she has her hair done, her makeup done, she's beautiful, and she can be overweight. Are you going to disagree with that?
But this is pure attraction.
Yeah.
Attraction. Okay, yeah, she's
Would you
attraction.
date that
She's
person?
attractive.
But would you date them?
Well, the question wasn't would you date
Well,
them?
but
Right, that's not
define
what I'm
attraction.
saying. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's not the
Implied.
question.
That's kind of implied.
Is it
I
implied?
don't
Would I
Yeah,
sleep with them? No.
Let me say this.
So then you just answered your question.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I said it's
Way.
different.
See, this is what I'm talking about. She just said that she wouldn't date them, but just before she said she thinks they're attractive. Well, they can't be that attractive because you just said that you wouldn't date them. This is why it's very important to pay attention to what women do and not what they say. Because I bet you if you look at their dating history, you will not find a single fat guy on their roster. Stop the cap.
So you,
It's different from dating
What
and
do you do
sleeping
when-
with and
Guys, let me
finding a
step
person
in.
attractive.
shoot.
Because I'm actually in the middle of both. But me personally, I wouldn't want to be with someone overweight. I need someone that's on my level with me, that's able to work out with me, that's like.
I think so. You agree with this? I think no one's saying attractiveness is not hardworking or confident.
Yeah, well, I said I was in the
Like-
middle of it. I wasn't disagreeing or.
I
agreeing.
was also in the middle,
Yeah.
and I almost stepped forward,
Yeah.
but I just didn't like you just said obese earlier, and that's that's what I wanted to hear because I think the issue is that fat, especially, actually I wouldn't even say especially for women, for men and women, fat these days is like having a little bit of fat on you. Like any voluptuous woman, there's people who are saying that they're fat, and so if someone's obese, okay, you're gonna look at that person, you're gonna think that person is not taking care of themselves, they're not healthy, that does not, shout attractive in any means.
So when you're having these type of debates, it's really important to define the terms. What is considered fat? So looking for you guys, I did find a chart online, and let me show you guys what I got here. So here's the chart that I found online, and I really like this chart because I feel like it explains the fat chart very well. So number one, we got slim thick. So basically just like any woman who has, thick thighs, or she may have like really good like muscle tone in her legs. That's slim thick. And then we have for number two, thick. Now for an old girl right there, like I feel like she has an exceptional nice body for quote unquote thick. I think you can be thick and still have like a little bit of like fat on your stomach, but just a little pouch, you know what I'm saying? Nothing crazy, just a little pouch. And then we have number three over here. They say full figured woman. I feel like that could be full figured or chunky. Now this woman, she carries her weight exceptionally well. So I feel like it could be full figured woman, or it could be a / chunky, depending on how she holds her weight. Now I talked about like, your stomach, you can have a little bit of a gut, like a little pouch. But like once you get down to these lower numbers, 4, 5, and 6, like now number 4, like now she's carrying a whole book bag. That's not a pouch anymore. She got a book bag for her stomach. And number 5 here, that's luggage. And number 6, if number 5 is luggage, I don't know what number 6 is. But yeah, anything in this bottom row, 4, 5, or 6, I would consider that fat. That's your fat territory right there. Anything above this, you're doing good. Number 3 is borderline. I would consider that, depending on how she carries her weight, she could be full figured or she could be chunky. So that's borderline right there. But I think we can all agree that 4, 5, and 6 generally looks unattractive. You know, they just look unhealthy, like they're not taking care of themselves. And I'm not saying like they don't look cute in the face, but you know, when guys are looking at women, they're looking at the total package. And most men are not gonna go for any of these on the bottom here. So if you gave this chart to the group, I think both the man and the woman would agree that 4, 5, and 6 is unacceptable and not attractive.
Typically, if someone's overweight, there are deeper issues going on there. There's so much deeper there. So to sit there and just judge them off appearance and just, you're not attractive. No, but to say, you've been very clear about stating, oh, I wouldn't date someone that looks like this and automatically assume it's poor health when there could be depression, there could be so many other things going on behind the scenes that are causing them to be overweight and causing them to look that way. So to just look at the outer exterior and say, oh no, that's not for me. You know, because I deal with people all the time and women that want to change because they've had things go on where they don't know how or they're feeling some type of way, and then they gravitate towards food because that is a comfort thing for them. And so before they know it, this ballooned and it's out of control. However, being overweight is just not something where you say, oh, they're just choosing to have poor health, they're just choosing to not care, and they're just lazy. That's just not. That's an unfair assumption, I think, about a person.
That's what we have to see.
When you
the first impression.
Just from appearance.
I got this, right?
Yeah, I think she's moving the goalposts here. The perceived perception of fat people is that they're gluttonous and lazy. But just because you're a fat person who eats in moderation and goes to the gym, that does not mean you are attractive. And props to that person for trying to better themselves, but if they still have more chins than a Chinese phone book, that person is going to be unattractive to most people.
What happens?
Let's see if you got it.
Okay, let me give you an example.
Okay.
You go into GameStop. The employee is not a woman, it's a man. He's overweight, he's got physical breast, his stomach is hanging out. Are you going to give the same grading scale as you would do with a fat woman, or would you also apply that with that kind of man?
What type of
as well?
grading scale?
Right?
Because you said when I was saying my grading scale,
Yeah.
you said okay, you don't know if there's an underlying condition,
Absolutely.
confident, hardworking, but when you look at that man in GameStop, he's overweight. Are you going to say, okay, he's either unattractive or he's not, or are you going to say, well, let me get to know him, let me do this? No one's saying someone can't be nice or can't be hardworking. We're talking about purely
Can I ask a
attractive, purely attractive.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Let's paint the picture. He's overweight. How overweight is he?
He's 300 pounds and he's 5'5".
Absolutely
Goodness
not.
gracious.
That's ridiculous.
Why is that
The reason
ridiculous
why
though?
is because
Why is that
if you were to-
ridiculous?
Because,
He has confidence.
because
Yeah, he has confidence. He works really hard. He
The
takes care of
question
his
was
mother.
fat. That's obese. Sorry, that's obese.
That's what I
Am
wanted to
right?
talk about real
300
quick.
pounds, 5'5" is
True,
obese.
true.
That's not just fat.
Fat shouldn't be so generalized based on a certain percentage of body fat, because you're right. You have obese, then you have fat, and then you have skinny, thin, or whatever. Because people have different arenas they go through. So if I looked at all of you guys, I wouldn't consider you fat, but some people at your size would probably think I'm fat.
Yeah.
And you're not.
What?
So
When you
we
say
have-
To consider her fat is crazy to me. I don't think anyone outside of the fitness industry would consider her fat. Because look at her. Her stomach doesn't even poke out here. To be considered fat, to me, your stomach has to at least be poking out for you to be considered fat. And even then, let's say you just got like a little pouch. You know, I think you can still be considered thick or chunky.
weight.
I know, really.
I'm totally thrown off by that.
Yeah, that's
That's an
the
insult.
attitude.
Correct.
Fat is an insult. If you speak to someone in that way, and the way you guys were talking when you first walked up and you all agreed, you all were using the word fat when you
Well,
spoke
that's
about
what
the
I
way.
was asked.
I understand that, but
And
still
actually,
at
I
the same
used
time, no one
obese
switched it
to
around to
clarify.
say so that now you're breaking it down, saying okay, fat is this and over shredded. Now you want to take it to a different space. But when you were first speaking about it, you didn't share the difference between being shredded and being considered fat, as opposed to the way someone being obese. You were speaking about it as if it was all the same, when in fact, being overweight, being fat, being all those, they're all different, and they're different perspectives. Everyone has a different perspective about it. And it doesn't necessarily mean that someone has poor health because they are
we didn't say
overweight.
that.
Oh, well, if you're obese, I think you're probably not.
Well, obese that's
Yeah.
different.
I'm curious to know like what you all feel about what you've been saying about the whole women can be fat, but men can't be fat thing. Because
Yeah.
if we're just talking like thick, I think that women can be thick and it definitely can complement them. I think men can absolutely be thick and they look big, they look strong. Like women love the whole
that's
dad
facts.
bod thing. But then once we get into obese, why the heck would people accept an obese woman more than an obese man? I feel like both of them are equally like not accepted.
Well, I think, and that's probably
I'm really torn on this topic because both fat men and fat women have it really hard when it comes to the dating market. However, fat men can still attract women with gaining money. However, women can obtain wealth and it doesn't really improve their dating options that much. But if you have a fat man and a fat woman, neither of them have a lot of money, typically speaking, the woman will have more dating options because men are more inclined to date down. All right, I'll go ahead and stop it right there. Obviously, you're gonna have some people who are attracted to fat people, but by and large, most people would prefer someone who is fit and in shape. That's why you see most of our actors and actresses, they're all fit and in shape because they're easier on the eyes. It helps mold the fantasy. If you ask those women who are their top 5 most attractive men, and I guarantee you there is not a single fat guy on that list. If these women truly believe that being fat was attractive, they wouldn't spend so much time in the gym. It's way easier being fat and out of shape. And even if you look at OnlyFans models, all the top OnlyFans models are fit and in shape. There's a reason for that. I mean, I can go on and on with examples of how the general public prefers people who are fit and in shape, but I'll leave it right there. I guess now we just live in a world where it's better to protect someone's feelings than tell the truth. All right, thank you guys for watching. Please let me know what points did you agree with, what points did you disagree with. Leave your comments below and let me know what you thought. And if you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button. And if you got anything out of this video, hit that like button. This is Agree to Disagree. I'm out.